Hello there guys, it's me Unstable Voltage. Welcome back to episode 11 of Cities Skylines. We've got getting quite a bit of call for commercial now. We don't have too many good spaces that we can use. We could build something down here. We've got no power. The power's been disconnected over here. I know why that is. That's because a lot of the industry has sort of reset itself because we changed it from oil industry to just normal industry, basically. So there is still a bit of oil going on down there, but some of that is going to change over. I'll still call it the oil line. I mean, we'll always fondly remember it as the oil line. So let's go ahead and just grab a sort of high capacity street if we can. Let's just destroy a bit of this industry because we've got plenty of the industry going. I just want to go ahead and make a little sort of bit of road like that. Just so that I've got some space where we can put some commercial. We can go and get some high density commercial here because we don't really have too much of that. And again, it's going to need power and water because it won't have it to begin with. So let's just make sure we have power and water both running to that. Power shouldn't be a problem because they're already sort of building themselves out in that direction. What is our power consumption looking like at the moment? We have plenty. We've got twice as much power as we need. In fact, we've got so much power, we should probably go into our budget and actually reduce our power budget down significantly. It's way more than it needs to be. Let's have a look at all of these services. Actually, garbage, landfill usage is 50%, incineration status is way over. So we don't necessarily need to be on 130% for that anymore. Of course, the idea is that the higher you have it, the more motors, the more trucks you have going around. Water availability is good, but not overly good. So I'm not going to change any of that too much. We're making good money. I mean, I've got to be happy with that. Loans, we do have... We have this one, we can just pay it straight off. There we go. So we're debt-free. Got 100,000 credits in the bank. Slowly starting to fulfill the need for commercial. Not seeing as many issues now with not having workers. So we seem to be fixing some of those problems there. There are a few people complaining that they haven't had their trash collected. But not many. I've got a feeling that that is still going to be an issue though. So I'm not going to put it up to like 130%. But I think we need to have it on a bit of a higher capacity just so that we can... Because that's where a good portion of our money is going. We're almost spending more money there than anything else at all. Still getting these warnings about crossroad traffic. Especially down here. I guess what I could do... And this is something that I've done before to relative degrees of success. If we just go ahead and put a new road in like that... Which just gives us an opportunity to put a tiny little bit more residential in. But then if we just go ahead and just destroy this section of road here, it upsets a few people, sure, but it's one less crossroad in there. And that reduction of crossroads actually improves the flow of traffic. Again, we could do the same over here if we were to take this road, join up that, and then we just go and take out just a couple of these junctions here. So we've just got fewer crossroads that are actually connecting to the main road. And just make sure all of that is zoned. So what's going on over here? You're complaining that you have no water, and rightly so, you don't. I wasn't aware that I'd zoned that little bit of road there, but there we go. That'll fix that issue for you. So what's our next milestone? It looks like we're quite a way off. We need to reach 26,000. We've been struggling to hit that one. That one has been a little bit difficult for us. Haven't looked at this thing for a while. So, well, we're getting rid of the oil. What's with the waterworks? Showering with bottled water. I think that was just because we had that one place that didn't have water. Yeah, well, the oil's going to be going away. Dead person, yeah. So we're having some issues with various amenities. Starting to sound like civilization. Some people getting sick. I guess it's because you're quite close to all of this industry there. You've got the incineration plant. You've got 2 incineration plants, really. Which are causing you some problems. Let's go ahead and move this oil power plant. we'll go ahead and pop it down over here. So we'll try and remove some of this. And let's go ahead and put a nice park down, because of course that'll get rid of the that'll get rid of it. But let's make sure we've got a nice healthcare building. Let's make sure we've got a hospital. Well, we do have a healthcare building there. And hospitals are very expensive. Don't really need the sauna. But yeah, we do have a hospital there already. I think that's a hospital anyway. That's a high school, was it? Show me hospitals. Medical clinic. Yeah, there is a medical clinic there. So we've got a helicopter coming in. Where are you going? You are going to the medical clinic. Brilliant. So at least the helicopters are actually working, doing what they're supposed to be. So is it you that... oh, it's just a dead person. Okay, that's fine. That happens. So we've got a few people complaining here that citizens are sick. Again, you are quite close to that district. You do have a medical clinic quite close by. Let's make sure we've got a hospital down here, actually. And that hospital can serve a large area. Hopefully we can start doing that. Also, this area here, let's go ahead and zone it. Let's go ahead and make this a zone where all of this industry is. I say all of this industry. I mean, it's not like there's a huge amount, but there is industry here. And let's try and make this clean industry if we can. Barlow Square can be fine as the name for that one. So let's go ahead and set them with some policies. Barlow Square, you need some policies. Right, what do we want? None of this stuff. Industrial space planning allows industry to work even more effectively by overlooking a few work safety laws. Double the amount of goods produced. No. No loud noise in the night. That's not really the problem. Only residents and businesses can use the area for motor vehicles. Ban other motor traffic. Lightning rods. VIP area. Fast recovery. So some of these are new that were added with the Natural Disasters DLC. In the areas, the emergency response unit does not search for survivors, but only makes the lot ready for rebuilding. More citizens are lost, but recovery is faster. Wow. And no rebuilding. Forbids rebuilding on lots destroyed buildings. Lots have to manually be bulldozed to be rebuilt. I was sure there used to be options somewhere to actually reduce the amount of industry, to make it like clean industry. But I'm not seeing any of that anywhere. Maybe I've missed it. Tax raise for... Have we got a tax raise for industry? No, it's just commercial, really. Yeah, I'd like to try... Well, maybe we will get rid of this industry at some point. I mean, we don't have a huge call for industry. So maybe we could slowly start getting rid of some of this industry and replacing it with housing and just keeping all of the industry down here completely separate. There's always going to be some dirty buildings next to houses, but we could certainly get rid of some of this industry. And of course, people don't like being next to the landfill, but what can you do? We are slowly emptying these landfills. And I think that I would like to eventually get rid of the landfills and just go for incinerators. I mean, they do create the same amount of... they pretty much create the same amount of pollution each. So we're still getting more call for commercial. So I think what I might do is go ahead and unzone a lot of this industrial area up here. We will lose some money doing this, but money's not a problem, right? We're doing well. I'm going to unzone all of the sort of top half of this lot, and I'm going to make it light commercial. And then hopefully, as you see, all of these buildings are going to start selling up now. This might cause some power problems. But let's go in and try and just fill all of these gaps. So hopefully that's going to solve the problems that we've been having with the lack of commercial. And also hopefully it will mean it'll reduce some of the pollution that is right next to the residential area. That's the plan anyway. There we go. Those last few buildings are finally starting to close and relocate now. So we can fill those in. So I think the only power issue we've got is just this random bit of pylon that isn't connected to anything. So let's go and get rid of that. Everything else seems to have power. So slowly, over time, this pollution should start to go away. Once we've got the landfill empty, we'll go ahead and close it down. It is emptying. Yeah, I would like to get rid of all the landfills, I think. We are seeing a fair few... Now, are these sick people or dead people? These are dead people. How are we doing with that? Crematorium availability is struggling somewhat, especially in this area. I should probably go ahead and get a crematorium right in there. Let's go ahead and do that then. That should speed things up a little bit in this area, because they certainly seem to be having their problems. Still getting quite a lot of bottlenecking going on up here. Mainly because this crossroad is quite busy. Now, where does that connect up to over there? What we could do is build some sort of flyover, but it doesn't really help people wanting to get onto that road, because then they've got to sort of go all the way around, and it cuts this bit of town off completely, really. So not too sure about that. The traffic's not great, but it's definitely doing better than it was. At least I think it's doing better than it was. These roads are always going to be pretty clogged. And the metro's doing well. That is relieving some of the load. Just trying to decide whether or not it's facility empty. A building is now empty. You can freely bulldoze it. Ah, there we go. So one of the landfills is already gone. So let's go ahead and get rid of that. There we go. Makes people happy. We have got rid of a landfill. We will need to get more incinerators to cope with all of that. But the incinerator status is still green. But we want to get rid of as many of those landfills as we can. Because they're nasty, horrible places that cause a lot of pollution. A lot of pollution, and they smell quite a lot. So we are gaining population back again. We're getting, well, it went up to 100 and something now, but it's just dropped down a little bit. No, it's still around about 100 a week. That is the weekly figure, isn't it? Yeah, so about 100 a week. So we are working towards our next milestone, which is good. We never renamed the city, actually. Didn't even think about picking a name for it. So these are city-wide policies. I know there are some slightly different ones, or there used to be. Slightly different policies in the city-wide. Maybe I just haven't unlocked the policies I'm thinking of. There's none... Oh, thunderstorm coming. There's none in there. There's none in there. No, I can't see any other policies. Okay, fine. Let's just assume that we've got all of the policies. So we've got a thunderstorm with a severity of 1. We've had those before, so I'm not particularly concerned about that. I noticed that there is a policy to tell places to build lightning rods. But one thing I haven't noticed is the ability to manually build them. I guess we could do it city-wide. We could go into policy city-wide and go... where is it? I saw it somewhere. Lightning rods. Request tallest buildings to install lightning rods on their roofs to lower the likelihood of them catching fire during a thunderstorm. Costs 1.6 credits per building.
Are issuing a thunderstorm warning for the coming days.
Let's turn it on.
Citizens are advised to stay indoors.
It's still only a severity 1. And can we see that somewhere in the budget? Will it tell us exactly where that is coming from? Policy's expensive. Wow, well, look at that. We're already spending almost 3,000 credits on policies. And that's the only policy we have going. Oh, come on. We're still waiting for this thunderstorm. Nothing seems to be happening yet. So the residential, industrial, commercial indicators kind of leveled out now, which is nice. This pollution will start to go away. It'll go away a little bit more once we can get rid of the landfill here. It is emptying. It's emptying very slowly, but it is emptying.
Meteorologists are issuing a thunderstorm warning for the coming days. Citizens are advised to stay indoors.
We should definitely have some sort of park up here, though. Not that it really gets rid of the pollution, but it makes people happier. There's no park down here either near the industrial. You don't really need one, to be honest, near the industrial, but it does somehow seem to make them happier. And also, you know, up in this area, we haven't really done any of this. I'm trying to put it somewhere where I destroy the least amount of buildings, really. So you can kind of get one there right on the edge. That'll serve a large area. Get one there as well, because that'll still catch that. And we don't have any over here in this area, so this will destroy a lot of small buildings for some reason. Oh, it's because of those pylons that we need to get rid of. Let's put one there. And let's make sure we've got another one down on this end then. Again, opting to destroy the smaller buildings rather than the large ones where possible. That's quite a big park. It's not. We don't need one that big. Let's go ahead and get one in over there because we do have a power plant. So now that that is done, and apparently you're still not really happy in the middle there, are you? Fine, let's put in a big one and destroy half of the buildings, shall we? No. Let's go ahead and do that then. So that should solve that problem. Let's just go ahead now and get rid of these pylons, because that'll give more building space for these buildings. You see a lot of these buildings here are quite small because they can't grow because these pylons are in their way. So let's go ahead and get rid of any of these pylons that aren't currently needed. We'll just check the zoning. Yep, the zoning is still there. There's a few areas that are missing a block or two. Again, that's probably where pylons and things were. So we'll try and get all of those filled in. We should see these buildings actually growing now and being larger sizes. So that's fine. We're up to 23,500 now. We're gaining 236 population a week, which is really good. So much for that thunderstorm. I'm glad I didn't evacuate everybody for that. I saw a huge lightning hit one of the lightning rods. I think they really make the city safer. And we're still making 21k, so that's great. Feeling full of energy in the jog in the new park. Yeah, people like that. No more lightning rods. You see, people think lightning rods are ugly, but when they save your house from being burnt down, then you'll appreciate them. Always the way. There's always going to be some people that aren't happy with various things. Now then, we've got a few fires down here. Do we have a fire department? Because this is getting pretty out of control. Apparently I don't have a... that's not the fire department. That's fire. We do have a fire department down here. I think we need another one, if I'm honest. Because they certainly seem to be having some problems dealing with these fires. They will get dealt with eventually, though. So, how's the oil doing? Have we used it all up yet? We have. All of these buildings have gone... No, they are still black. But, yeah, all of this oil is pretty much gone now. Are you still pumping any? Yeah, oil... 25 units a week, so there's basically no oil left in this area. It's pretty much all gone. So let's go back to zoning. We are going to unzone this one. And then we're just going to extend this zone out. It's all one zone of normal industry. So all of our oil industry has gone. There is still some more oil somewhere else on the map over here, I think. No, that's ore. I'm sure we did have some more oil. Yeah, there's a patch down there. There's another patch over there. We've got some fertile land. I mean, we could get some farming industry going on. We could especially get some farming industry down here. We do have a little bit more coal for industry. Let's go ahead and think about doing that. Well, we don't have this this tile yet. We could buy it. So as we don't have that, is there a better spot that we'd like for farming land? I mean, this is obviously where our city is. We could use this bit down here if we were to go and buy this section, which is not a bad idea because it would give us access to the rail land. And we could get a lot of farming industry in there. So let's just go ahead and buy this. We'll go ahead and grab that tile, and then what we'll do later on is we'll build some roads out here. We'll probably build over or under the rail line. But we've got a rail line and a rail station we can use now. Not sure what that actually is. I mean, there's a building there, but it just doesn't look like we can do anything with it. Can we bulldoze it? Apparently we can. It doesn't do anything. It's just a random building on the train line. So we can go ahead and build over here and build like a massive farm here, because we do have a lot of call for industry at the moment. So that'll be quite a cool thing to do. And again, it's trying to keep the industry away from the housing. We might sort of build off in this direction for more housing later, or maybe even over here. I haven't quite decided yet how that one's going to work out. How close are we getting to that milestone? We are very close. We're less than 1,000 people away. We've almost got $1 million credits, whatever you want to call them, in the bank. So we're pretty much set as far as money goes. We could even start thinking about building some of the weird stuff, which, as far as I'm aware, doesn't really do much. Fantastic fountain, you know, causes a bit of noise pollution, but brings some people in apparently. It must be built roadside. Again, the problem is with these buildings is they're colossally huge, so that they almost feel like they're a bit of a waste of space. You know, they do. Mind you, there's a lot of people around here that don't seem happy with stuff. So we could go ahead and like destroy all of your houses. I mean, I'm happy with that. Let's just go and throw it in there. Destroy all of those tiny little small houses that aren't growing for some reason. Why not? It's because it's such a small zoned area. Yeah, there's not a lot we can do about that, really. Let's try and get that filled in where we can. A lot of small buildings around you. You've got some space to expand, so go ahead and do that. Thank you for an amazing vacation. About time we got ourselves something unique to remember the city by. I wonder if people are going to... Why is no one picking up our trash? People should be picking up your trash. Are we having problems with that already? Really wish there was a clear all button there. Trash collection. Incineration usage is not great. We should probably get another incinerator somewhere. We do have most of the city covered. There's a little bit up here that could do with some, I suppose. Fine, in we go then. I know it sort of upsets people having the incinerator near you, but you've already got a power plant next to you, so it shouldn't be too much of a surprise. You live at the crap end of the city. Again, it still seems like there's a few people up here getting collected. So there's got fires going on here as well. What about this landfill site? We want to probably start getting that emptied as well. We could have probably been better off with the incinerator here and not... Because I moved the incinerator. Let's go ahead and get another incinerator here and we'll get that landfill emptied as soon as possible. So there goes the incinerator. Of course it does cause more pollution, but let's say we want to start emptying that landfill. Hopefully the fire department is handling this. That's police, that's why it's not helping. No, apparently we do have a lot of fire issues here. What about if we go ahead and put a big fire station right there? That should hopefully be able to cover that. It's a very big compacted area, so the more people we can have in, the better. I'm determined not to end this video until we get to our next milestone, which is very, very close. We should hit it any second now. There we go. We are a capital city, so we can buy another section of land. We can now use ships, we can build harbours, we can build cargo harbours. We do have a sort of connection to the sea, I suppose. So we could build harbours over here. And that may well be something that we use in the future. However, I am going to end the video here. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. I hope you are still enjoying Cities Skylines. I'll see you on the next video. And until then, goodbye for now.